the guy who literally wrote the book on the subject, joins you now. Stephen Levy, Facebook, The Inside Story. So, Stephen, let's talk a little bit about a guy you know well, Mark Zuckerberg, if he is asked to appear before another committee, and he either drags his feet or ignores the request, and he's subpoenaed. What does he do?
Well, I think if he's subpoenaed, he shows up. He's long ago given up trying to avoid congressional hearings. He's been through it a few times. He's going to do it again. He had a marathon session. If you remember, the first time he came to Congress in early 2018, he did like 3 sessions, really. And be the House and the Senate, his all-day affairs for 2 days. So he's proved his stamina, and if he's subpoenaed, he'll show up. He won't be happy about it because I think it'll be a replay of some of the questioning we've seen before, where people on the GOP side will accuse him of bias, and people on the Democrat side will say there's no bias, and it'll go back and forth. I'm not quite sure what it'll accomplish.
Well, the one thing that both parties agree on for different reasons is that maybe it's time to sort of corral these guys in there. They're getting too big for their britches, or they're doing far more than we thought they should. And maybe this Justice Department, suit against Google is the opening salvo. That no matter who wins in November, no matter what the makeup of Congress and the White House will be after that, that all of these big tech guys, have targets on their backs. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you. Today is a signal day for what's known as the techlash, because after all this talk, finally the government has done something with action. They filed a huge suit against Google. They said, they made a point to say, I was just on a call recently, that this is the biggest deal since the Microsoft suit. They don't often invoke the Sherman Act in the antitrust suits. And they're invoking the suit 2 decades ago, where Microsoft, which loomed over the technology industry like the 800-pound gorilla, was finally tamed. Even though Microsoft won the suit ultimately on appeal and wasn't broken up, the effect on Microsoft allowed companies like Google to emerge.
Stephen, just looking at the stock market reaction, though, and Google Alphabet stock, and it's up. Do you think it's the worst case scenario for investors is, all right, so they break the company up, then I own more of something I kind of like, and it might be the same way people played AT&T and the breakup of AT&T in the 1980s. What do you think of that?
Yeah, they're not going to break Google up. They're not even threatening to do that. What I found interesting looking at the complaint is that Google isn't a separate company. Google is part of a holding company called Alphabet. This happened 5 years ago, and when they switched the name of the company, and Google is now a division in this larger company called Alphabet. And the word alphabet appears just once in the complaint as a little parenthesis saying, oh yeah, Google belongs to Alphabet. So they're not really trying to do a breakup. They're not talking about pulling YouTube away from Google, which is what you think of as you think of in terms of breakup. They are going against some of the deals that Google made to put their search engine as a default in things like the Apple search engine, or the Apple browser, and the Mozilla browser, and some of these phones.
I didn't think that's a very good point, Stephen. Stephen Levy, Facebook, The Inside Story, much more good expert on all things technology.